stops here. Oh, you're live.
Oh, we're live.
Oh. We're on both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just cover here. Okay. So we should be live. If you can hear us, let's see.
If you can hear us,
Yeah. Send me a message in the chat just so we know, so we don't talk for nothing. Thank you. That should be good.
Yeah. Check if you're live on that one as well.
We should be live. I can hear you. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
All right, cool.
Wow.
All right.
Nice.
Sorry about that. We had some technical issues here. We're running a little bit late, but we'll try and catch up as we go along. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to SARA Academy in Simrishamn. My name is Lena. I'm the rector of the school, and I'll let everyone here introduce themselves, and we'll speak soon.
Yeah, I'm Georgios, term 3 student.
I'm Elsa. I just graduated here.
And my name is Hans Schamait. I'm one of the co-founders of the school, along with Sana Tomas.
Great. So we're going to be here for about an hour or 50 minutes or so to answer any questions that you may have. Please just keep, I can see already there's questions popping up. Great. We will answer them as they pop up. We will also all talk about the school and the education, student life, housing, anything that could help you this evening, and I'll hand over to Hans first of all to talk about the school and the education a little bit, and then we'll move around. And we also have, sorry about that, we have Alexander with us as well.
Oh yeah, hello. I'm in the back here.
Alexander is also a SARA alumni, and he's helping us out here with the technical thing. So sorry about the wait. I hope that we can help with some useful information here this evening.
All right, so I think I'm going to work on the assumption that you already know something about this kind of education, and that's why you're watching, that's why you're curious. So I won't go into maybe all of that, but talk maybe more about what makes this school different from similar schools that you can find on maybe the ARC website and things like that. One of the bigger differences I'd say is that we're a non-site size school. We use the comparative method of measurement, and that's very important to me, and I think that's just important in general. And the difference there being site size is limiting in ways that the comparative method is not. And I think the comparative method is much more traditional and flexible and just a better way to sort of be an artist out there in the real world, rather than having these very specific requirements for how you're set up so that you can create your art. So that's why we do comparative here. And that's a big difference, an important one. And please look more into it if you're curious about it. There's some information on our website, which you're very welcome to take a look at and read, and look through our galleries and all of that. That would be a big thing, I'd say. And another difference would be that when I went to school and the co-founder Sana Tomas went to school, what we noticed was it was very, very focused on technical training, which is important, of course, and we are too. But one thing we were missing is sort of more creative side. And so what we've introduced here since the beginning, and I'm not sure that many other schools or maybe even any other schools do that, is have creative exercises. So we want you to keep that muscle flexible. And so we assign 3 times every term, we assign what's called the seed. It's like we're planting a seed that you can then express using traditional media any which way you want. And that's to sort of keep, while you're learning and focusing and mastering all those technical exercises, which again are very, very important. And that's really why you come here. You're also working on being creative and thinking outside of that sort of technical world and just being more creative. And that's probably why you came, because you had these ideas. And when we studied for 3 years and we got really, really good at being technical, we realized suddenly it's like that part of us had sort of atrophied a little bit, that muscle. And so we want to keep that going here. So we do that as well. Maybe some of you can talk about it if you'd like, the students, you guys, how you feel about that. Our location, we're here in beautiful Simrishamn and southern Sweden. It's actually really nice. We used to be in Stockholm, and were concerned about coming down to this part of Sweden because, it's not a big city like Stockholm was. Would people, appreciate that or not? But it's been actually very, very positive. We're in an area called Österlen, and that has actually the most working fine artists per capita than any place in Northern Europe. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful landscape, close to the sea. We're only an easy day trip, a couple hours from Copenhagen, which has amazing museums. It's really a wonderful, really cool city. And it's also the best airport ever. It's just so easy to use and get to, and then you can go anywhere in Europe very easily. So it's a really nice location, really, really positive, I think. And we also discovered that when people followed us from Stockholm and came down here with us, what they expressed was that, yes, it's much more quiet. It's like a, kind of a quiet, sleepy fishing village, you might say. But what they discovered was, you didn't have all these distractions right outside your door. So you have to make an effort to be distracted. And that allowed them more time to focus on their own work, on their schoolwork, without getting constantly distracted by all the cool stuff happening outside their door. You can still have that stuff. Like I said, Copenhagen's an easy day trip. There's also Ystad and Malmö, third largest city in Sweden, all of that. But it's an advantage that we weren't, sort of as an unexpected benefit of coming down here, that fact. That's
also, I guess,
yeah.
just on that topic, because I'm from Stockholm, and first I felt like, of course it would be more practical if it was just in my hometown, in the city, big city. But then moving here, I felt like it was such a special opportunity to get to live in a place like this too. It's just such a, I don't know if it's really that clear either. We are like literally right by the beach. Like you can walk down in 2 minutes to the harbor, and it's so beautiful to live so close to the ocean. And so I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, we had a group of young men, some students, of which you, Alex, were one of them, who went swimming in the sea every day, any weather, middle of winter.
Yeah, every
you guys
lunch.
went out there every lunch to go skinny dipping in the sea. Yeah, there's a video on our website. That's right, our first viral video. Wow, respect. That's crazy. But you guys did it. That was so cool. Yeah.
That's the Swedish culture.
Right? Bringing it back.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. So that's true. Very nice to be right here in this beautiful, beautiful area. What else can I mention? How it works, just briefly. It's a 3-year program. That's pretty condensed. It's really not enough time, you might say. You wish you had more time. It used to be longer, but we have the first year is spent on, it's not for everybody, so it's good to kind of go through this so that you know if this is really what you want to do and if this is for you. It's not, you don't come here just to sort of, express yourself and everything is valid and fine and good. It's more of a craft that you're coming here to learn, and it's hardcore. So first year is just drawing, and the second year, just pencil drawing, then charcoal drawing. And then the second year you have charcoal and chalk, which is a little bit more like painting because you're adding your lights and your darks on a toned paper. So it's more like working with paint. Nice sort of segue. Everything is sort of designed that way. A progressive shift into the next thing, master one thing, move on to the next, and so forth. And then you've done that. And then you finally start midway through your second year painting in black and white, still no color, right? And then you're working with that. Then finally in your last year, your third year, your fifth term, you start with a limited palette. So not every color is available to you, but just those basic, black, white, red, and yellow. And you can get amazing colors from color wheel from that. But anyway, and then finally full palette. So it's a journey, and it works though, because it's not much different than how it's been done in the past with great results, as you know, when you just look back at our history in this kind of painting with, our own little sort of modern additions and things like that. But it's a rigorous, serious journey, you might say, but it works and you get good results. That you will for sure, if you come to a place like this, leave better than you are when you came here. Absolutely. Look at our before and after page. That's a really good one.
So right on this topic, we have actually a few questions that I could throw in. So one question from Karma is the program only available in 1-year periods? Are there any shorter periods available?
We have 6 terms. There's 2 terms per year. So yes, it's, let's say 1-year periods. You could go for a term and that sort of thing. There aren't any shorter periods than that. There's sometimes summer workshops. I think there's real value in building a momentum. We've had people who study for a year and then leave to work or to do other things and return. And that does happen, but it's a bit rare, and it does break your sort of momentum that you're building. I'm so happy when they do return, and it's wonderful. But if possible, I don't know if you're Swedish or not, Karma, but if you are, then of course there's CSN, student loans, that you're maybe familiar with, that can help you so that you can study all 3 years. If you can, it's great to go all 3 years. If you need to take a break, that's great. But sometimes when you take a break, life happens and you want to return, you have the sincerest intentions, but then other things happen and it just makes it harder to get back and then to get back into the swing of things. But it's a good question. But this is the way it's set up right now. And for that reason, because it's ideal that way. But you could go for a year and then not, and then come back. That also has happened with success. Also.
But there are people who also come here thinking they're gonna just stay for a short time,
Yeah.
and then they stay. I mean, I even thought I would just do 2 years.
I love
first,
that.
But then very quickly, I was just very set on
That happens.
continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like that. You say, I'm just going to do a year. I just want to, brush up my drawing, or I want to be a concept artist. And they end up being, staying and being fine artists, and that's really cool.
And then Charlotte Andreasen here asked a similar question on the same topic as the last one, but will you exclusively be talking about the 3-year course or also the 2+ months workshops and courses? And I think maybe they're referring
2+
to
months.
Summer workshops.
Yeah, summer
maybe,
workshops,
yes.
or
You can
maybe
talk about anything you want, you guys.
I was
Yeah.
gonna come to those things, and I think on that topic that you were on is that we do offer a 3-year program, and also there's 1-year programs as well, but they are equivalent to the 3 years. The 1-year programs are there purely, really, for those that are overseas students that need a student visa to study in Sweden, because they are issued 1 year at a time. That's why we need to have 1-year programs. But the first year of the 3-year program is the same as the 1-year program, if you know what I mean. So it's important to know that if you're an overseas student, you need to apply for the 1-year programs.
So Karma here came with a follow-up question or statement,
Great.
which is, I'm currently studying at ARAM in Mexico, so I am a little advanced in the program. Can we send current works for level evaluation?
Yes.
And I guess that would be for
Absolutely.
entering year 2
Yes.
or year 3.
Absolutely.
The only, I'm not so familiar with if they use site size there or not. So certainly, if you've done some BARG studies, which are typical in schools like this, and some CAST drawings and things like that, we'll definitely look at that. But if you've done that using the site size method, it's important that you sort of familiarize yourself with the comparative method, because it's not just an automatic easy switch. I mean, site size is its own thing and comparative is different. So short answer, absolutely. You could start further along in the program. It should also be perhaps, easier for you to sort of grasp things if you have that background too. But just be aware that if Automa is using site size, there's going to be some adjustments that you're going to have to sort of learn.
They're writing here that they are using both methods.
All right, well then you're probably familiar with comparative, whether that's in the model room with the figure or with probably there, maybe more so than with CAST. I know that some schools have done that. Tell them just to forget site size altogether and just go comparative all the way. They don't need that site size stuff.
Send the
But,
article or the
they could do that. But okay, but that's good. I'm glad that I think a lot of schools are doing more and more of that sort of, bringing in some more comparative and things like that, which is great. So nice. Then that's very positive, Karma. That would make a difference. So yes.
On that note, I do often get the question if it's possible to start in the painting program straight away. In theory, it could be, but like you've just explained, you need to be very familiar with the methods that we're using, and you do need to have had completed 2 years at a similar academy to this. Because otherwise, would you say, Hans, it's impossible to keep up and start it wouldn't work. So you do if you have already done training at a different academy for 2 years, then it may be possible. But it's not possible if you haven't. You can't just apply for the painting program if you've never done any painting.
Mm-hmm.
That would not be possible.
Right. And again, on a similar note, if you've done 2 years at another academy, or even a year, depending, because some people have been a year at academy and they come there and it's like, what have you been doing? You probably should have been further along. But if you've done 2 years at some other similar school, you're not going to be doing bar drawings again and that sort of thing. I doubt that's going to be the case. But again, you have to sort of learn the system of comparative measurement and how that works. And I think you're going to love it because it's completely freeing than that sort of more rigid site size. Hope that answers your question. Yeah.
Cool.
Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we have one that would take us into the next segment, which is from Hapstein. Do you know if it's difficult to get housing in Simrishamn, and is there housing close to the school? Everything's close to the school here.
It's a very good question. Simrishamn is a small town of, I think, what is it, 20,000 in the whole commune?
In the whole commune, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, and city size it's 6,000 year round.
Yes.
So it's a
6,000
small-
year round, triples in the summer,
Yeah. Quadruples.
quadruples. Yeah. It's beautiful here.
It's usually quite easy to find a place to live in Simrishamn. There will be everything from 1-bedroom apartment to a more bedroom apartment that you could possibly share as well with other students here. I am able to help you with all that. So if that's finding accommodation, I'm certainly here to help with that. So don't worry about those things. Rent is typically cheaper than other bigger cities in Sweden. 1-bedroom apartment, which is like a studio apartment with a kitchen and bathroom, anything from 3,500 up. The various
That's
crown. That's
Swedish crowns.
crowns.
Yeah, so split by 10 for dollars and
Or euros
or something
approximately.
like that,
Yeah, so it's 3,500 up. Typically maybe around 4,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment. We also have a couple of very sweet bed and breakfasts here in town, and because the term months are in the low season, they do offer rooms occasionally, which are very affordable and nice and clean and very close. Anything is about 10-minute walk from the school. So we will find you somewhere to live. I often get the question if it's possible to live out in the villages, and of course it is, and there are bus services, but it just takes a bit longer, and the buses are not that frequent. I would recommend finding something in Simrishamn if you can, but a couple of kilometers outside is also doable. Some students live like that for the first year, and then they move closer. But
we've had people commute from Malmö, and now we have one commuting from Ystad.
Yeah.
But it's so much nicer to be in town.
But Elsa, how was it?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Sorry, Alex is looking at me. Yeah, no, my first term I stayed in like a village outside.
Yeah.
But I had a car, which made it easier. But still, like I did that for 1 term, and then second term I looked for an apartment closer to school, and I got one right away. Partially lucky, but it is also much easier compared to Stockholm. For me, I mean, it's so much easier to find something close to where you're studying or working, and cheaper as well. I mean, I've never lived like this where I could just walk to school in 10 minutes.
No, it's a nice thing, and I think it's worth saying that we house in this big building, which is, like Elsa said before, 200 meters from the sea. It's an old building built 1874 or something like that.
Wow.
It's like a home here, and students tend to spend a lot of time here at the school. That's also another reason why it may be nice to live locally, because you walk home late at night and you don't really want to wait for buses and that run one every half an hour.
If you don't have a car,
like
you're really sort of
Yeah.
beholden to that bus schedule, and then you can't maybe
Yeah.
stick around when people are gathering to do something social and that sort of thing.
And there are both private landlords and housing associations, and there's also a more stately run what to say, where you can landlords. But we will help with that, and I think after you've applied and you've got accepted to the program, it's good to start that process quite quickly to have that sort of finalized as soon as possible.
I started right away when I got accepted, and you helped me. And I had an apartment 2 or 3 days after that.
Yeah.
So it went really quickly.
Yeah, you can be lucky like that.
Yeah.
It can sometimes take a little longer than that, but it's nothing I would worry about. And usually they're nice, spacious apartments. And we are spoiled. It's a beautiful place to live here. It's a very quaint little fishing town, Simrishamn.
Yeah, especially when spring comes.
Yeah,
when everything comes
it's
to life.
a bit cold at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like green almost all year round.
Yeah.
We don't really have heavy snow.
It is windy.
Now and then.
No, it is windy.
So Hofstein said fantastic. He was very happy with the answer. And then we have a few others. So this is a quick one. Buying a bike, selling at the end of the stay. Yeah, we've had a few students do that, and the bike shops here will buy them back. Maybe not at the same price, but at a similar price, So that works. That is super easy. And then Karma has another question. Are subjects taught in English? Have you had an international student experience?
Yes.
We have quite a bit.
The language of instruction is English. However, we have international teachers, so there are usually more languages spoken. Right now we have a teacher from Germany, another from Malaysia. Of course, Swedish obviously is spoken, but the primary language of instruction are the lectures that are given on Fridays and things like that. That we can talk a little bit about that too, I suppose. Those things are all done in English.
And all the assignments and all the instructions we get.
Everything.
All our
Yeah.
texts
All
and
in English.
everything. And
Is it like almost
It's an
half
international school. No,
students?
it's about a third.
Okay.
Lena, isn't that about a third typically is international students. So that's why we do everything in English. But there is the off chance that maybe a teacher speaks your language and you can get some extra help if something is confusing. But yeah, count on English as the language.
And does completing a degree or this education come with receiving a diploma that could help in finding a job, for example, in schools or higher education institutions, etc., etc.?
Good question. Absolutely, do you get a diploma when you have completed the 3 years, or if you complete 1 year, you will also get a diploma. The diploma lists all the courses that you've completed in your time here, and the grade that you got from that. So absolutely.
But I would want to mention though that it's not an accredited school, so you don't have those. It's not like a Bachelor of Arts, a BA or an MA or anything like that. So it's like a certificate, but you're not. Some schools will honor what you've done here in terms of credits. If you talk about, let's say in America, and want to sort of have those points count towards some other diploma at some other university or something like that. But you don't get that kind of a diploma, if that's what you meant, like a BA or an MA. But
that is the same for all academies of this kind.
Yeah, unless they're accredited, and there's very few of those who are. But I would just ask you too, what I've always liked about this kind of education is that the people who come here, they're here because they want to learn how to paint and draw well. And that's the most important thing. It's not the piece of paper at the end of the studies. Maybe you do want to work in academia and teach and that sort of thing. And that's great. That's fine. But you're here to learn, to get those skills and to learn that. It's less about a degree or a certificate. You have that too, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. And that's nice about a place like this, is that everyone here is here for the same, they like the same stuff. They want to get better. And that's the focus. You can do this for a living, be an artist. It's not like you're going to have to need that diploma for your, plan B, so that you can get some other job at that thing. I think a lot of people come like wanting to be, concept artists because that seems like a reasonable career. And there's nothing, I like concept art, it's all great, nothing wrong with that. But it feels like more doable being an illustrator than the idea of actually just being a fine artist and creating your own work and surviving on that. But when you're here then and you're immersed in this world, in this environment, you start to understand that actually this is possible, and maybe I can do this. You certainly can, but you start to understand that. And then maybe your goals can change or evolve into something else.
Yeah. I'll just add on, me and Elsa just finished the program. And I mean, I have my diploma at home. I'm super happy about it, but the skills I do have today is the end goal. Like, they're so much more valuable because I can essentially, there's such creative and artistic freedom. And I can paint a new artwork that would be even more sufficient than that diploma, or, to really showcase what we've learned.
I think what you were saying also about being in this environment, and I think many of us enter the school kind of unsure. I mean, we always hear, like, if you want to be an artist, are you sure? That's going to be so hard. And it's just, it has been very empowering to be in a community of both teachers and students who are taking that seriously and doing it. It's just, it gives us much more confidence too, and just, of course we can do it. I mean, I don't know.
I think on the note, this diploma that you get, we have many different people apply to a school like this from different types of backgrounds. It's anyone who's been doing a bit of drawing and painting all through their lives, but done other things and decide maybe later in life that they want to do something like this. And we have students that come here who already have a degree in arts in a more traditional school, but they found, or university, and found that they didn't sort of pick up those skills that you learn here, because it simply isn't time in a Bachelor of Arts to focus on drawing and painting as we do here. And that said, we have students that have completed the 3 years at SARA, and they've gone on to not do a degree, but to go straight on to a master's with the skills that they've learned here. So there's all sorts of journeys that people that come here have had before, or journeys that they take after they leave. So I just wanted to
I think it's important. You also touched on something about, I don't know, who's watching and how old you are or where you are in your life, but it's important to note that we have students, from, I suppose, it could be as young as 18 into their 60s. There's a wide range of ages. Like you said, they come for all different reasons at different stages in their life. And most students are probably in their 20s, the majority, let's say, but certainly, currently we have a student in 60s, I imagine.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes.
And I don't know how young our
Decided
youngest is, but
to
it's
follow
a wide
a
range.
dream and a passion, and came
Yeah, we all
here.
like the same stuff. That's so cool. We're all here for the same reason. Yeah.
Right. So this is a good question. So from Ola, do you need to have a lot of experience before applying?
No.
Right.
I think that gets us on to how you apply.
Yeah.
Because you don't. You can come here and you will learn. You will learn a lot, and very quickly. It's amazing.
Our application asks,
how quickly you can learn these things when you have this time to focus on it.
Ola, look at the before and after page on our website, and you'll see what people applied with, the images that they applied with. Kind of gives you an idea of where they're at in their journey, and then see what we produced. Look at the galleries then and see where you are. So or they're actually, you can see the after right there, right? So
I really liked seeing term 1 when I was in term 2 to see the development that they were making, because I didn't see my own development. You kind of get blind by your own work, but that was amazing to see. What are they, 8 students that just all of a sudden know how to draw a live model, and it's like, wow. It's amazing. It's magic.
And to Ola, who was asking that question, I'd also like to reassure that the application form itself is it's very thorough. You download it. You don't even download it. You apply online, and you send in 5 examples of work with your application form, and you don't have to be super good at drawing and painting with these examples. It's five examples you need to send in. So the first 3, they're set what they need to be. They need to be a portrait and a figure and a still life. And
from life.
From life. But
Not
you
from a
don't need
photo.
to be too precious about it. The still life, you can set it up in front of you and make a drawing of that. Or you can, for the portrait, you could even draw a friend, or you can draw yourself in a mirror at home. The figure doesn't have to be naked if that's difficult to arrange. It needs to be full figure. So I wouldn't worry too much about those pieces. And then there's, of course, the 2 examples of work that you feel represent where you are in your development. But you're coming here to learn, and we just need to see that there's an interest, and that you know. Then of course the skills are going to vary with the people that apply. But I would approach it in that simple way. Would you say?
Absolutely, and just to elaborate on that. It is, our application is maybe even the most thorough or extensive one out there from schools like this. And that's intentional. We want to know if this is the right place for you. I think we have a really wonderful atmosphere here with our students and teachers and staff and everyone. And that's because everybody sort of belongs here. We want you to have a very good idea of what this means, that it's not a place for you just to come in and play with paint and that sort of thing, but it's a serious craft that you're learning, and you can learn it, and you will. And the images we ask for, from life, because we only work from life here, we don't use photographs. That's also something that's really important to us, especially now in this culture of AI and all this machinery getting involved in the mix. Just that sort of pure human working from life imagination. That's what we're focusing on here, and that's very important to us. So we ask for those 3 to be from life, and the other 2 are up to you. But understand that it's just to give us an idea of where you're at on your sort of artistic journey. It's not about, is this person good enough to come here? It's just to give us an idea of where you're at, so you don't have to stress about, is the work good enough? Like I said, just look at the before and after, and you'll see that we have absolute beginners and even professionals who come here. But that's less important. Your application isn't going to hinge on your images that you send in, but we are very interested in what you write, and answering those questions and how you respond to those and what you think, and to give us a better idea of, is this the place for you, or is there some other choice that might suit you better? That makes sense. Yeah.
And then on that, I think I'd clear up a little quick, because there are a few questions here we haven't gotten to. And so an early one was, did the Swedish department move to Simrishamn, or do you have 2 in Sweden? And I thought they meant like a governmental, like the Swedish department. I didn't really understand at first. And then it came down to, I meant moved from Göteborg to Simrishamn. I didn't know you had department in Stockholm, so how many departments in Sweden and where it's all, and then a follow-up question. So I think they might.
This is it. It used to be Atelier Stockholm, Swedish Academy of Real Art. That's where we were located. Then our building was sold, and we started looking at other options. And we like the south of Sweden. They have, Österlen, climate, all the reasons we discussed already. So we moved down here. There is a school in Göteborg. That's from the Florence Academy of Art. That's the only other school in Sweden that's similar. That's a site-size school, Florence Academy. You're probably familiar with it. Big school, good school, perfect for you. Maybe you like site-size, go there, that's fine. We're different, we're down here. So it's not departments of the same school. It's one school. Florence has, of course, is in Florence, Italy, as well as Göteborg, and maybe even other places now, I don't know. But we're just here in Simrishamn. Nice. Small concentrated school. We like it that way. So no, there's no other places. We moved from Stockholm, and now we're here.
Perfect. And Karma had a few other questions. So one of them, are there lockers or storage available at the school?
Good
No.
question.
And I'd say no, but
no.
theft is not really anything we've
No.
ever had to worry
No,
about.
thankfully.
Knock on wood,
Yeah.
right?
Thankfully,
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not. But
I-
it's a good question.
Fair enough. Sure.
How it works here is that we have 3 ateliers upstairs. We're upstairs at the moment. I forgot to say actually we're in the school's Wunderkammer, which is where we store all our
Casts, and on the wall that you
still-
can't
and-
see,
and
we
the
have all
still
still life
lifes.
objects and all that cool stuff.
And in the ateliers, you will have your allocated space where you work, your studio space, where you can keep your things and your materials and whatever. It's unheard of that people steal from each other here. Really, I have never really.
No.
It's never been
again,
a problem. Downstairs we
fortunately.
have a coat room where we hang our coats, and we do take our shoes off and have slippers inside just to
Very
keep it as
Swedish.
clean as we
Yeah.
can.
I mean, we even have our lost and found and
Yeah.
most things that you need, unless it's a teeny
We
tiny
have a
charcoal
very
stick.
small lost and found box where people leave if they drop.
So you get your own
drop
spot, and that's your spot for that term, and people just leave their stuff there. I would still use common sense, and I mean, we do have an open croquis, so every Thursday evening, the public can come into the building and draw from the model. Again, so far, never been a problem. I feel very safe. I left my house once, and my door was literally wide open when I got home. All day, just wide open, and then walked in thinking, what am I going to find? And it's like nothing. I just forgot to shut the door, and the wind blew it open, and there it was. I mean, it's really nice and safe, but don't leave your diamond jewelry on your spot there or something like that. But just take care of your stuff. But otherwise, no lockers. But you have a place for your things that's yours, and we have this sort of common sense rule. Don't use it if it's not yours. Ask, that kind of thing. So we're all pretty good with that, I'd say.
Yeah.
I feel pretty safe, like in Simrishamn with that. Like I leave my home with the door open sometimes. I don't really care about it. It's a whole different feel to this community here. So
Safe. It is.
And on that,
Fortunately,
when is a good time to start the program? On winter or in summer? I mean, applications are open.
fall
good
or
question.
you mean fall or spring?
Yeah. Or
Sooner the better.
January.
Fall. I guess I might say that it doesn't matter, but I say fall just because it's like the traditional time of intake. You start your studies in the fall. I know you guys didn't, but you can correct me.
Me
but
and
just
Alex
in
are
my,
the term, so we're
I mean, it all works. It's all
when
good.
when
but-
you
when
can,
you're ready, that's when.
you can start both spring and fall. It's whatever works for you. That it doesn't matter.
But
who was it, Carmen, that
Congratulations.
asked
It feels more
about
like a
the
year, though, if you
storage
start in the
place?
fall.
Yeah, that
I
was
just had
common.
one
Starting in
note
January,
to that.
so you're beginning the year.
Right, but then you that summer break before your next half of the year.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, it's, okay. I can argue that.
It's all good. It's all good.
I would like to say that I was a bit hesitant to apply to the school at first, so I didn't apply.
Why?
Because just a lot of reasons. I had to break up my whole life, and
Okay.
but
Georgios was a chef before he started.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So I was 41 years old when I started here, and it's like why would you do such a thing? But looking back at it now, I just wish I started earlier. So, but it's not so easy to
No,
make
That's
that
a big,
decision.
It can be a really big step.
Yeah,
it's
for
true.
me it was a big step. It was really a big step. Just, stepping into some sort of dream life where I'm not working anymore, but I am working.
Harder than ever.
Yeah, harder than ever.
Yeah. And also sorting out finances and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Which I thought I needed to mention maybe as well, that for Swedish students, this education is approved by Myndigheten för yrkeshögskolan, which means that we have with CSN approved. So you can get full CSN to study on this 3-year program. Also, you can take out a merkostnadslån, which is a loan through CSN for the tuition fee. So that's very important to know that you don't have to cough up the term fee yourself starting here. You can take a loan for that. This is also available for EU students, which is amazing. There is the only catch with that. So if you're from Germany or Poland or somewhere like that, you can get funding from Sweden to study here, but you would need to work 10 hours a week. But you can read up more about that on the CSN website or write to me, and we can discuss that more. But that's the only catch on that, is that you have to work for 10 hours a week. That's how that works. For overseas students, is a different thing, and you would need to you'll learn about that in your visa application, the requirements for studying in Sweden. But there is no CSN for overseas students.
No, and on that question that Karma asked, are there any financial aid or scholarships available we can apply to? And they were from, or at least studying in Mexico, so they're overseas.
Yeah, it's a very good question. We often get that question. Unfortunately, we're not offering any scholarships from here at the moment. And I do know if you're applying from somewhere like Mexico, in your visa application, you will need to present some kind of financial stability to get the student visa. So, but you need to look into that, and I'm happy to send you links to the migration website where you can learn all about the requirements for that.
But then there are some general scholarships like ARC or ARC Renewal and others that you can, not connected to the school, but we've had students that have gotten them.
Out there.
Yeah.
Ilsa, you've been very good at applying for scholarships, and yes, they are out there. You just need to find them and look for them, and absolutely, they're just not offered through the school, but absolutely is there things you can apply for.
And
More
here
than
was
you
one
think,
question
actually,
on
in
the
competitions and things like that.
And we had Mental Reaper. Does the funding apply for Romania too? Do you know that? Or like if they are EU students, if they are eligible for loans? And they should be.
Yeah. Should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Here's another question.
I'm half Romanian.
Are you really?
Yeah, Transylvania. My mother's from Transylvania.
Oh, yeah, shit.
And we have a teacher from Romania.
Yeah, I was going to say that part, but
Yes.
So two other questions. One is, if English, this is from Mikael, if English is not my native language, but I know it quite well, let's say at a B1, B2 level, will I be able to manage in classes?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely 100%.
100%.
And just from having gone through the program, I can say that, the teachers take a lot of care in the communication part, and that has not really been a problem if you have basic English skills ever.
No, wouldn't say so.
And then we had another. Oh yeah, this was another question from Karma. We are interested in oil painting. What are your considered strengths in that area?
In oil painting in general?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the school.
If I understand your question correctly, I mean, it's all designed to lead up to oil painting ultimately, right? I mean, you're studying drawing and, preside painting, black and white oil painting, and then finally full color palette. So the strengths, I suppose, would be that we have, I consider this a strength, and this was important for Sana and myself when we were setting this place up, is that we have teachers, and maybe you can even tell when you look at our website, we don't have a look here at SARA. I think you might be able to tell, oh, this painting came from this school, this looks like that kind of a painting, and this painting looks like of the type of from this school. We really don't want, we have teachers that are from different backgrounds and paint differently. Like, for instance, I'm a line person, Sana's a value person or a mass person, let's say. and we have painters who paint this way and that way, and it all works together nice and seamlessly. One nice thing that we do that I'm not aware of other places doing either is that every Monday, or whenever there's a teacher handoff, because we have teachers here, I'm drifting a little bit, but I will get back to your question. Remind me if I get off of it or something like that. Is because we want our teachers to be practicing artists as well and have time to do that and build their career and their own personal work. So they teach for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. Then they have maybe a month off or so. And then there's another teacher that comes in and teaches that time. Whenever there's a teacher handoff, every couple of weeks or so, everybody gets together and we do a walk through the school so that we're all on the same page. We look at every student's work and say how they're doing, where they're at, what needs to be done. So it's sort of a seamless transition, and it's not confusing or anything like that. And I think that's a strength in that we have people from different backgrounds who work differently, all working together. So you get a little bit of all that. You get to see that and experience that, and you're still moving, in a focused way towards that final end goal. And what we don't want to do is, I don't want to make you paint a certain way, Karma, you or anybody. I just want to give you the tools so that then you can, express those ideas in your head. And that's why we don't want this sort of look. We want to give you the toolkit that you can then use to express your personal voice and not paint the SARA way or this way or that way, but just paint the way you want to paint and finally be equipped to do that. If that answers your question, I hope it does. Let me know if it doesn't, and we can elaborate more on that.
I think on that note, I could just say, I haven't gone to the other schools, and I guess they do somewhat similarly, but just how you break it down from when we start oil painting, we start in grisaille or brunei or general black and white, but with a bit of temperature, because I didn't so we start to think about that. And then after that, we go to the limited palette, which is also really, really nice, and not being overwhelmed with a million gazillion colors to mix and everything. It's
maybe I should have touched on that
pretty
more.
approachable steps, I would say, building up to term 6. Because if I remember myself from term 5, start of term 5, starting to mix colors and everything to handling the complications of term 6 to life, or it was a really good ladder, step by step.
Yeah, it's a good. Alex makes a good point. I mean, it's a very good system the way it's set up. It works very efficiently to get you to painting that way, starting with grisaille. We do primarily brunei painting, which is basically brown and white instead of black and white. On figures, black and white just looks very, very cold, and so it's nice to have a bit of sort of warmth anyway. So that painting, and then introducing the limited palette color, and then the full palette color, all in these sort of step-by-steps. It's sort of like, juggling balls in the air. When you have that limited palette of those 4 colors, you can get a lot from those 4 colors. So you're focused on mixing what you need from those 4 individual colors, and then you're adding colors as needed later. So it's a really great way to sort of get you into the full palette without overwhelming you. If I just said, paint this and take any color that you want, you're trying to balance all these balls in the air. When those only 4 balls and you have those 4 colors in everything, there's an automatic sort of harmony that's there, right? Because every one of those colors is in kind of everything that you've painted. And then you introduce things. It's just a really nice way of moving towards being unlimited in what you want to paint and how you want to use it. So it's a really good system that way.
Mm-hmm. And then a follow-up question. So I asked them to, write if they had any last questions. We've been going on for 55 minutes almost. Wow. So I think we're rounding out in a couple of minutes. So one other question we got here also from Karma is, I have only done value studies in oil color and black and white. Color is black and white. Is that enough, or do I need a higher level? But I've already finished graphite and almost all with charcoal. Because they asked about applying to the later years earlier in the program. So I think that was just an explanation for where they're at in their general state.
I mean, it's hard to say, without seeing what you've done, but you've done, yes, graphite and charcoal, and you're already working in you said black and white and color, or just black and white studies? Grisaille?
Grisaille studies, black and white, yeah. No
color?
It says color here, so I guess a few studies in color, maybe easier.
No, it's hard to say.
Send in application.
It doesn't hurt to send it in. We can give you some more feedback then.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys teach things like character design or storytelling, or is it just pure fundamentals?
We're running out of time maybe.
No. We can.
But
We don't
I
have
mean,
set time.
right now there's a composition course going on by someone who's downstairs, who's experienced in that and has worked in that field. We do touch on those. We're not focused on concept art or character design or anything like that, but we have a lot of people from diverse backgrounds here, like I said, and so we like to take advantage of their knowledge, and they can pass along what they know about their fields of interest and expertise. In terms of lectures, we do the art materials lectures, of course. So you learn about materials used in your career here, art materials. We also focus on the business of art. So, resumes, gallery relationships, artist statements, all that kind of stuff. So you also go through that here. We don't just want to give you the skills, then throw you out into the world without having some knowledge of business practices and all of that, marketing and those sorts of things. And also artist appreciation, some art history. That's all sort of, it's not a lot of time, 3 years, and it's a pretty packed program, and you're pretty busy, and there's a lot going on, but there's a lot available to you too.
But I'd also add a strength that you guys have added into the whole school program is the creativity course, like the seed presentation and stuff.
Yep.
Speaking about storytelling,
Right.
that really is our narrative
That's true.
chance of keeping up with the creative kind of pulse and everything. Yeah. So you guys definitely do encourage some of that within the rigorous academic studies.
Yeah, you will be using that and working on that without it sort of being a class in character design or something like that. You will get your chance, if you're into that, to talk to people, work with people, and even other students, because you won't be the only one here who's interested in that, for sure. And then be able to apply that in those creativity exercises too. Yeah, that's true.
And here's a good follow-up question on that as well, speaking in the same area kind of. Is the curriculum targeted towards painting from real life or also imaginative realism, if that makes sense, like painting from imagination?
It does, and yes. I mean, it's primarily, we only work from life here. I like the way you think, because I think that's so important. I was worried when you started the question that it was going to be, do you work from life and from photos? But you said imaginative realism, and I think working from life is critical. It's a different kind of experience when you're looking at something and working from it, and there's no machine involved in the process. You're not looking at a photograph or a screen or anything like that. And the imagination, that's also just pure. There's nothing there. It's just your imagination. And so that's beautiful, I think. And combining those two, learning how to draw and paint well from life, and then applying that to the ideas in your head and working from imagination. Also, again, something you could use in those creativity exercises. That's mainly what we're about. All of what we're about, really. No photographs, nothing like that. It's another conversation. It's all good, fine. Use photographs. I have no problem with that. Use photographs. It's all very good. It's just not what we do here, and there are reasons for it. And happy to talk about that. But yeah, it's all good.
Kind of in the same topic about creative work and things. I just in general, I would say a lot of it is it is what you make it to be. And many students have their own. I mean, we had a classmate who was, a landscape painter, just wanted to be out painting landscapes. And then we have some people who are just really into these kind of character design. And I think people, you find each other, both people who have similar interests, but also with different interests. You can be inspired by them too. And so it's not a really narrow way of how you have to be or anything. I think it's there's room for everything, and there's opportunities to learn those things too, from each other.
I think,
well said.
From both yours and mine, artistic side, or personal art is a bit of, imaginative, goes into spiritual, dreamlike or whatever. And for me, before this education, it was lacking the tools to bring that into reality. Now I have the tools to be able to understand what an imaginative vision would look like and how it would pull it out into the kind of realm of painting and be able to execute that. So that really has given me incredible freedom to really develop my imaginative drawing skills and painting skills.
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I don't know.
I wonder, there's something that we try and cover, which I think might be helpful, because you know what you can learn here, and we've sort of tried to give some kind of image of, or paint a picture of what the school is like. And I wonder if it could be helpful to know, I don't know what you think, but to know what a typical day would be like, or a typical week. How we actually learn this. How does So do you want us to run through?
Yeah, I can talk about my days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah. So
Wake up.
yeah, we're here Monday to Friday, and in the mornings I do my cast drawings in charcoal and chalk on toned paper, and we have a lunch break, and then go into the model room. So we work from a live model, also on toned paper with charcoal and chalk, and that's the normal day. But then it continues. So we have portraits Monday, Tuesday after school, which you can join if you want to, and we have to
Live
join on
model,
Mondays now, and live model as well, and Wednesdays like today we have the creative lectures with Matt, and Thursdays are croquis after school, and that's the Monday to Thursday, and then Fridays we usually have lectures, and yeah.
And the most
Saturday's
important day,
portrait.
Saturday Portrait Club.
Yeah.
I'm the ambassador.
So
You know?
students are typically here 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
And
and
the
it's
school
packed
is
too
open
during the day.
on Saturdays as well. Not everyone comes in, but a lot of people do. And there's something called Portrait Club, which is completely separate. It's not in the curriculum or
There's also
in the
etching
program,
club.
but and there's etching club as
Yeah.
well.
Also
That you
Saturdays.
can you
Let's not forget etching.
take part in
Very
on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So it's a like you said before, it's a busy program, but it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it. 'Cause that we're here so much, and you put in the hours that you want to put in, but it's possible to put in so many hours and really develop skills here. So it's really fun.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, and there's like everyone here is we're living in this bubble, and we're all creative, and it's so fun to be around all these students here.
It's like a little Hogwarts, eh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And
Yeah.
whenever you have a question about something, you just go to a senior student or an alumni, and you get your answers, and it's really cool.
It's open 8 to 8 officially? But then
Yeah, we never close that early.
Yeah, no.
No.
And there's always people here beyond that, and so it can go quite late. So you can be here a lot, more than 12 hours. A lot of people, I feel like they just go home to sleep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're here, eat here, socialize here, do all that. But it's nice. It's really nice.
And there's a fully equipped kitchen downstairs,
Yeah.
so you will get your own space in the fridge, and you'll have a little box, a wooden box, where you can put your pastas and rice or bread or whatever you have. So and this supermarket's 5-minute walk from the school. So
You walk
so
slow.
you don't need to. Okay. 4-minute walk.
2 minutes. Come on. Okay.
So many people hang out here and cook and eat their meals as well.
And there's many just hangouts, just like official or unofficial parties, like Halloween party the most important Halloween party, and
Big one.
just movie nights.
Masquerade,
People
movie
just hang
nights.
out, stay in this room here in the evenings, draw together.
Liquor store's 30 seconds
Oh,
away.
yeah, so you can put all your-
It's just
Did you walk quick?
Yeah.
We do visit Copenhagen every fall. We do a trip. We rent a bus for the day, and we go, all of us, and look at the museums and whatever
Great museums.
exhibitions that are on at the time. And in spring term, we go to one of we fly to a European city or take train, but usually we fly.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And we are actually off to Krakow in a couple of weeks for 4 days. Last year we were in Vienna, so we try and go and see
Madrid before that.
some interesting cities in Europe to get a bit more inspiration and see some impressive museums. Of course, people watching are coming from all different places. I wanted to just mention a few dates. That if you can come and visit us, it's always a good idea. But of course, not possible. That's why it's good you're joining here this evening. But on the 12th of March, we'll be having an open house, which you're welcome to come to. There might be an opportunity in the afternoon to join in on some figure drawing in the model room, if there's space. So I recommend that if you're able to, if you're not living too far away. Remember the last application date on the 11th of April. In April, we will also have our yearly exhibition during the local art fair Konstrundan. That starts on the 18th of April and we're open for 3 days. I recommend coming for that. There are now some information on our website about our summer courses. We will be running 3 courses this summer, 30th of June to the 4th of July. So it's 5 days. We'll be doing one course in portrait painting, still life painting, and Hans will be doing his etching workshop. So keep an eye on that on the website and email us if you're interested in anything like that.
And for any other question, if you think of something now after we're done here, just send us an email, and with your question, we're happy to answer it anytime.
Yes. Well,
all right.
I think we're wrapping up.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much
And
for listening.
goodbye.
Thank you.
And
See ya.
speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's it.